and welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Never Second in Rome, where we continue. I think we're in Act 10. Continue our Act 10. Labienus rejoins you. His campaign against the Parisi achieved some tactical success, but overall the scenario is not good. The Bellovaci, the largest of the Belgae tribes, kept out of trouble for 5 years, as long as hostages were Caesar's custody. Now they're preparing for war, although they have not taken part in the hostilities yet. Despite the bad news, it feels comforting to be reunited with their brethren in arms. Besides his 4 legions, Labienus brought back the new recruits from the Italic Peninsula that arrived with Caesar this winter, and has been left behind to guard the army's baggage train. Informers, deserters, and scouts keep you reasonably aware of the enemy's activities. Vercingetorix went to Bertrand. The Arduini tried to snatch leadership from the rebellion from him, but he outmaneuvered them. Great councils held with all the rebel chiefs, and by unanimous decision, the Iranian king remained the sole man in charge. The Vermeni and the Lingonenes did not participate. They are still loyal to Caesar. Surprisingly, the Reni are also staying out of this affair. They're too busy dealing with Germanic raiders on their border. Vercingetorix is collecting an impressive cavalry force, but no additional infantry for now. He wants to isolate you, to strangle you day by day. Since you're cut off from Rome and its provinces, Caesar seeks reinforcements from beyond the Rhine. The Ubi, the Germanic tribes under his protection, provide horsemen and light footmen. They are fearsome warriors, but their presence intimidates even some of the soldiers. But their horses look diminutive and inadequate, not even close to the powerful steeds of the Gauls. Caesar's remedy is unexpected, but effective. He requisitions the horses of his officers, of the Roman knights, and of his re-enlisted veterans, the Evocate, and gives them the Ubi. What your cavalry lacks in numbers now makes up for its prowess. He learned that Vercingetorix has sent detachments to raid the Gallia Transalpina. You're on the move across the friendly domain of the Lingonenes, skirting the eastern borders of the rebel territory in an attempt to bring relief to the beleaguered provinces of which Caesar is governor. Biberacte, the Arduinian main city, is about 100 miles to the south. Vercingetorix is still directing operations from there, and you're under no illusions. He will not let you pass unmolested, as if the answer to your concerns, word comes that the bulky rebel forces, led by the commander in person, is marching towards you. Last night, they reported to be only 10 miles from your camp. You set off, half expecting Vercingetorix to employ his usual dilatory tactics, but after a short time, the scouts protecting your flanks launch the alarm. You hastily form up to protect the baggage train while your cavalry engages the enemy counterpart. As the fighting goes on, it becomes clear that they are too severely outnumbered to hold out on their own, at least on the side you can see. The enemy is attacking from several directions. The cohort is ordered to advance along with many others to sustain your horsemen. There's no sign of enemy infantry. They're counting on the speed of their mounted horses to overwhelm your column. You get close to the heart of the fighting, leaving small quarters of your own horses and closing them when the enemy approaches. It's a difficult maneuver, executes under such pressing conditions, but our men are up to the task. The enemy pelts you to disrupt your formation. You hold fast to gain some opinion with Caesar. The Ubi riders are well visible at the nearby crest to the right. They dislodge a numerically superior group of Gauls and are pursuing them towards the rebel camp. This promotes a domino effect all over the battlefield as panic propagates to the other enemy units. Awareness, you're organizing troops to support your own group cavalry as they attack some Gauls who are fighting the rearguard action. Delunius draws your attention to one of the enemies. His helmet has decorations typical of a high-ranking Arduinian. Try to capture him, or too dangerous to stay in formation, stick with the plan. Our unit's starting to take quite a bit of damage, so we're going to say too dangerous, try to stick with the plan. As more time goes on, your apparent becomes the Vercingetorix ambition has backfired. As all armies withdrawing, Caesar does not miss the opportunity and gives chase relentlessly. You do not know how many men the rebels have lost, possibly a few thousand. Brief chase takes you to the territory of a minor tribe called the Mandubi. Vercingetorix and his army have withdrawn to the local town of Alesia. Unsurprisingly, the dominant hill on which Alesia stands makes it easy to defend. Two river borders its side. There is a plain next to the hill, about 3 miles long. Still similar elevations around it. You have cornered the rebels and their leader, but their refuge is way too impervious to storm. Caesar orders to envelop the place with a massive fortification line. We're behind schedule. See if that's gotten us back on schedule. Just about. Okay, we get it done early because of a successful production roll on the last check. Yeah, an exhausted fighter is a sitting duck. The enemy army is camped on the slope of a hill outside of the town. They have dug a ditch and put up a 6-foot stone wall to protect themselves. Your works are suddenly interrupted when a massive cavalry skirmish erupts on the plains. Your horsemen seem in deep trouble, and legionnaires are urged to interrupt their activities and form up. Caesar's Germanic auxiliaries join the fight, and the balance is shifted. Rebels start to retreat and are chased by the Ubi up to their trench. Many jostle towards the narrow gates of the encampment to disastrous effects, ordered to make a small advance, causing even more panic along the Gauls. There's no need to press the attack. The cavalry skirmish has caused enough damage to the other side, and above all, they're confined in a town that was not prepared to withstand siege. Food is going to be a serious problem for them. More days pass, and your 11 miles circumvallation is almost complete. It's massive. There are 23 redoubts placed at strategic points along the perimeter. The enemy is withdrawn within the walls of Alesia. The formal camp has been abandoned. Victory seems within your grasp, and morale is high, but all the positive effect is lost when a centurion of the First Corps comes to brief you after war council. Seeming expression there has been developments, and not the pleasant kind. You were in much bigger trouble than you ever suspected. Situation in Alesia is hard. You know that a bunch of deserters left the city town yesterday and important information trade in exchange for a pardon. Rebels have found a weak spot in your still incomplete encirclement a few nights ago. They used it to sneak their entire cavalry in. Each of the components would reach their own tribe and gather as many warriors as possible to come back with a release army. Vercingetorix and his besieging forces have enough food for 30 days, more with strict rationing they have just enforced. Such a gigantic task will undoubtedly cause heavy organizational logistical issues to the Gauls. There is, after all, a reason why Vercingetorix did not mobilize more infantry when he had the chance before. Gauls cannot field such a huge army for very long. You remember how a similar attempt ended during your first war against the Bulgae. Everyone who was around back then still does, but even so, pinned here as you are, your 10 legions and a few thousand auxiliary will face the combined power of nearly the entire Gallia. You must inform the men. We got good charisma, but we haven't really been amping the charisma to deliver. We're gonna write the glorious chapter. No embellishments. We're gonna be under siege, man. All you have to do is resist until Vercingetorix and his army in Alesia is starved to surrender. It can be done, and while the men are struck by the bad news, their will to fight is mostly intact. When the circumvallation is finished, Caesar orders it reinforced with multiple ditches and tramps, so that less soldiers are required to defend each segment. The enemies stuck in Alesia perform occasional sallies to damage the later efforts, while more and more workforce is needed to comb the surrounding land and bring in vital supplies for the next crucial weeks. Okay, we're about on pace. We can't finish. Okay, so normal roll. Get a little bit of quality bonus there. Metal and aggressive commitment will expose you to more danger. Make you accumulate fatigue faster. Yeah. Troops just finished preparing a set of nasty traps they dubbed lilies. Made of expertly concealed stakes as wide as a human thigh with fire-hardened tips, disposed like the dots of a pincux. You observe the impressive set of fortifications around you. Legions have dug a large trench between the hills of Moesia and the plain at its foot. It's 20 feet wide and just as deep, sides perpendicular to the ground. 400 feet behind the trench, there are 2 more ditches as deep as the first and only slightly narrower. One of them has been filled with the water of a nearby river. There are 12-foot reinforcement ramparts. Where possible, turrets have been positioned in 80-foot intervals. On the ground, several layers of different kinds of traps await the hapless sallying gulls. When circumvallation is complete, Caesar orders the construction of another external line all around the first. While the latter was built to contain the besieged, the former will protect you from the onslaught of the Reef army when it comes. Work is still in progress, but your men are also tasked with foraging. No new forces have been observed in the surrounding areas. Help out, go with them. There's not much left for many miles around the siege works. You have to get quite far in order to find some provisions, but you face no danger. I gained some troop opinion, we gained some Caesar opinion. Many weeks or more weeks go by, the formidable external line protecting the circumvallation from the outside has been completed. Meanwhile, it has been confirmed that the Gauls are assembling a huge army in the country of Aduini, formed by warriors from all over Gallia. Of this, Vercingetorix and his men in Alesia know nothing, although the outer fortification must have given away that you are expecting unfriendly visitors. Their sorties are getting weaker and increasingly rare. You learn what is happening inside the city by the occasional deserter and prisoner. They are almost out of food, and some of the tales are sickening, even by standards that you are used to. In a recent assembly, one of the chiefs proposed to save themselves on those who are not useful to the war effort. Vercingetorix seems to have opted for a different solution, though it's hard to say whether it is any less cruel. The women, the children, the elder, and the sick are ousted from the city, or ousted from their own town, so as to have less mouths to feed. Some of them approach your bastions, imploring to be taken in, even as slaves, as long as they're not abandoned in no man's land. But Caesar's orders are as strict as they are merciless. No one must be allowed entry. Manifest Caesar and Vercingetorix see the steps they've taken, sees the steps that take them closer to their purpose. Those caught in the middle are beneath their notice. Look at the displaced from afar. You cannot see their faces from the distance, but it's hard to pretend they are not there. It is reported the enemy relief column has been on the move for a few days and will be here soon. There is an unnatural silence in the camp and on the ramparts. You've done all that you could to prepare for what is to come. You will soon find out if that is enough. They are coming. The first you spot are bandits, or bands of mounted explorers. Then the infantry arrives and starts taking position on the hills to the southwest, about 1 mile from external fortifications. More and more keep turning up. You have never seen so many war banners before, or war banners at once. Not even the Belgae coalition you faced long ago could field such an impressive force. The next morning, they deploy their cavalry on the plain. Does not look as impressive as their infantry. It's still large, but barely more than half the force Vercingetorix had before he tried to ambush you many weeks before when he squandered the advantage. You look at Alesia and see that the besieged are enthusiastically leaving their walls and occupying the slope, ready for action should things start looking good for them. Midday, Caesar sends out his own horsemen. They are outnumbered as usual. A series of skirmishes breaks out, but the enemy is using teams of archers to support the horses, and they're being painfully effective. Sundown is approaching when the charge of the usual Germani creams a section of the enemy forces, causes general rout. The archers are caught in the open and massacred. The morrow is uneventful. On the hill northwest of Alesia, too wide to be embraced by your fortifications, your perimeter crosses part of the slope and faces uphill towards the exterior. This is by far the most vulnerable section of the defensive line. 2 legions, almost 1/5 of the heavy infantry available, are guarding it. Gauls outside have not seen it yet. If they learn about it, they will strike as hard as they can. You are still awake when you're called to your battle stations in the middle of the night. You are deployed on the northern side of the Circumvallation, less than half a mile east of the weak section. The enemy is up to something, but it is dark and you can see little. You hear powerful war cries to the southwest, and after a while, and as in response, you glimpse shadows moving towards the hill of Alesia. Your own position is not under attack. Battle noises can be heard all night. The illuminating fires of the inner defensive line show that none of the Gauls from the besieging town have managed to come close to the rampart. You can only see movement in proximity to the first ditch. The eastward sky is brightening up when the sounds gradually subside. The enemy is withdrawing. The attack has failed. The assault from outside was heavy. The enemy had used the break of day before to prepare facades with which to fill the trenches, ladders, and grappling hooks to overcome the rampart. There were a lot of casualties on both sides, but the defenders held firm. On the inside, the Gauls were delayed by the ditches and the traps. They could not launch an effective strike. It appears the lack of food is affecting them. Nothing relevant happens the following day and night. Time is on your side, but you're all aware that there's too much at stake. The Gauls will not surrender without launching a full-scale attack. You must be on guard at all times. You are at your usual station. Another morning went quietly, and the sun is high in the sky. See distant pillars of dust suggestive of the enemy cavalry taking positions in the plains. Your suspicion is confirmed when you climb to the top of the closest turn. Gauls on the outside are making their move. Almost reflexively, you turn slightly to your right. You notice movement. Human figures filling the crest of the northwestern hill, about 300 paces from your vulnerable perimeter. This is it. The proverbial Achilles heel of your defensive works is no longer a secret. Intellect. Most of the camp last night to circumvent the hill. They've probably rested on the other side during the morning. With a tremendous roar, the Gauls begin the descent. The 2 legions stationed there must hold the position for now. The ground is making their job very challenging. A few of the Gauls fall victim to the first line traps. The rest become a lot more cautious. The delay is only temporary. More coming from the top of the hill, a lot more. It looks like they're tossing earth over the traps to neutralize them and are gaining ground, slowly but consistently. At the same time, the western side of the line, the one facing the plain, is also under heavy attack. You turn towards Alesia to the south. Vercingetorix is leading his army out of the city gates, ready to give a hand to his rescuers. There is an attempt to attack the sector closer to yours. The enemies are about 80 paces from your Scorpion, maybe a little too far for accurate shots. Jesus, not worth it. Provide assisting fire, please. Have your artillery engage them. In effect, all the shots fall wide of their mark. They're only missing precious iron bolts, which doesn't make Caesar happy. Many sections of the inner and outer defenses are facing difficulties now, but the situation at the fortifications west of your position, the ones facing uphill, is the worst. Caesar sent 6 more cohorts in to reinforce the 2 legions, after some of the messenger legions from Libanius. He's in charge of the ailing sector now. He's gathering all cohorts that can be spared to defend it. Your legate sends yours and a few others, since the pressure is much lower here than elsewhere. You form a column and march at speed towards the exposed hill until you reach the trace slope between the outer and inner defenses. You stop and shift into line formation. You do not know how many more cohorts have arrived. From what you can see, more than 10, maybe 15. In front of you, however, the outer bastions are close to the breaking point. Behind you, the inner line is still containing the assaults of the Alesia. Fortifications facing the hilltop are abandoned. They cannot be held any longer. The Gauls reform their ranks and advance beyond them. On this ground, you are at a disadvantage. But if you do not stop them, they will be able to attack the defenses facing Alesia from behind and break the siege. All would be lost, not just the battle. Wave of spearmen, a little disarrayed because the obstacles descended towards you. You are outnumbered, and you're expecting enemies, or more enemies to come forward even if you beat these back. You must be careful with how you spend your energy and that of your men. Do you ask for the gods' favor in the defending battle? Yes. Altar, Jupiter, Mars. I believe we have the last god, Genius Loci. We're building an altar too. Oh dear. Either this is a long fight, or we're expected to perform really well. We have a determination weakness here. Throw an advance. Seize the initiative. Our rounds go first and miss. Their rounds come back and hit us. We take damage. To melee. Let's take a cautious stance. Got a depth bonus, they got the high ground. We need them to be exhausted from attacking us. Old. Okay, the enemy is imbalanced. Let's drop to steadfast, start raising arm balance, and either take advantage of them going onto the defensive, at least be in a stance where I think we're good. So they're taking extra fatigue because they're imbalanced. Okay, they've gone to very cautious. The guy in front of us is fairly heavily armored. And while he's fatigued, he is not that vulnerable. Take the +6 for the arm shot. No dice. That heavily damaged our stance. The enemy's not necessarily following up on it. Okay, we're not injured, which is the important thing. This will be a long, drawn-out fight. Close in, standard formation. This guy doesn't have a helmet, so we're a little bit more likely to be able to do damage there. Dolius here is not necessarily the best of fighters, apparently. That's one mislead, and some damage. Not opening it up enough. Don't want to take a risk this early. Simple. And we might as well take a risk here. We'll go for an arm shot. Marginal victory. Okay, they've dropped very cautious. I'm gonna mirror them, but I'm gonna go cautious. We're taking this slow and steady. Encourage them in because our combatants is low. We get our combatants back to full. Good to see. Okay, yeah, this is a long fight. We gotta do a lot of damage, but we have... Time is on our side. I think they're coming at us fierce, so we're gonna take a cautious stance so as to let them overextend themselves, hopefully. Eligible stance damage. If we find an opening, we'll take it, but I don't think we're necessarily going to find an opening anytime soon. Okay, our guy's got a fatigue advantage. Let's see if you can translate that into any damage. Initial stats look poor. Though he managed to get one mislead off. Hasn't made enough of a difference by itself. Another mislead. And we will try to recover. Looks like they have. Got a mislead off. Still -8 for us. Zero to hit. Try the 0 to hit. No dice. Enemy is suffering far more fatigue than us. We're allowing them to get unbalanced. I think we're about to seize initiative, and which we do, we want to do damage. There we go. Major fatigue advantage favoring us. Oh, it's not going to translate to any hits anytime soon by the looks of it. Because we're fighting with a stance disadvantage, and a lot of our guys, besides us personally are not particularly great, apparently, at following through without a major stance advantage, which is hard to get in 5 turns. Okay, last attempt to take damage. Do damage. No dice outbound. Don't take any return, which is fine. We're involved in a fight. We don't personally have a fatigue advantage here, so we're unlikely to necessarily be able to push this home. Though if they blow their stance up right from get-go, we might be in a state where we can. Plus 12 is not quite enough to land it. We're getting plus 12 to the thing as well. 33 to hit. That's usable. No dice. Bounces. Minus 4 on the trick. We'll try that. Nice. Into Intimidate. $28 for headshot. Bounces. They're now a fatigue level higher than us, so it's going to be harder for them to recover. Easier for us to land blows. 38 for the torso. It's going to be lost attack. Do manage to land some damage. Giving us a clear victory there. Disengage. Yeah, let's encourage, keep the competitiveness up. Second one gets forced into cohesion because we don't need to encourage anymore. Seize the initiative. We'll stay steadfast. Initiative seizure. Don't successfully seize it. In the momentum, I shall lead the spearhead myself personally. Okay, we'll stay steadfast. Oh, they're going to stay steadfast. We'll stay steadfast. Okay, they've gone to cautious. With more momentum. Okay. Interesting. We're going to fall back to cautious as well. Oh, they went back to very cautious. Okay. It wasn't a very productive round. Okay. Let's take cautious here. We're gonna lose the initial initiative. Well, this gives them an imbalance at which we can take advantage later after they're a little exhausted. Okay, now we're gonna go back to steadfast while we wait for them to swap over to cautious themselves. As we've been cautious, we have a fatigue advantage here. Oh, this is one of our... Oh, this is actually technically our flag bearer. Slowly waiting for that, or waiting for and looking for that opportunity may have just come to us. No. If they didn't get that recovery off, it would have come to us. Okay, last opportunity to do any damage. We'll take the risk with an arm strike, which will probably mess you up. Oh, that's partially in our advantage. They've got a fatigue malice, which is giving us a decent possibility to hit. Plus 20 I think it's worth trying to take a gamble on. No dice. -1 on a trick. Don't manage to steal their stance. .40 for headshot. This guy has left himself too open. Well, we didn't quite have enough to bring him down. Still pretty severe damage to the enemy. Only -9 to hit. That's the fatigue on the enemy formation stacking up. At least on their notables. Lost 11 to hit. That's worth the gamble. Bounces. Trick opportunity. Doesn't work. Modest victory. Darn it, lost the initiative there. Nope, we got it back. Disengage just as we got to go out of balance. Courage of the men. We don't really need cohesion, rather we need to be combat effective. Caps them unaware. Fail to seize the initiative. Leaving ourselves very vulnerable. Lose one of our men. Your guy is at least considered to do his part, even if it's not particularly effective at damaging the enemy formation. Oh, I'm not even gonna drive if it's a -45. That's better off just fainting. Okay, got a stance back. The stance back. Get a successful intimidate off, just say we can. And then we'll go for a strike. It's probably going to bounce. Yeah. The Gambini! Finally, one of our guys that I think is a little bit more competent fighting, though currently right now he's getting bad formation attack support bonus. -2 to hit, which also means it's going to -2 like simple feint. So we'll do the feint. Less malice if that fails. Yeah, it fails twice in a row, so. Not much to say. We're just looking for openings and not finding them. Well, we'll gamble on a torso swing anyway. Bounces. Successful mislead. Decent to hit. Enemy is hard pressed. More exhausted than him. Struggling to recover. 22, 15 the arm. Let's do an intimidate into an arm. And then intimidate into a feint. Nope, that fails as well. $23 into an arm. Damage dealt. $28 head. 44 head. $46 head. Any hit that penetrates armor will land and finish him, so just get a hit in. There you go. Crushing victory, one member of the enemy team down. It's 10 to hit, not good enough. Let's intimidate into a feint. It's -5 at that point. -2, it's not bad. +4 to hit, not good enough to take the risk yet. Okay, we only got one here. We got a +1 to torso hit, so we'll take it. Hard pressed, no damage dealt though. We take the initiative back. We did. Haven't been able to inflict any damage with it yet. Disengage, okay. Encourage the men. The men need to have higher morale than this, ideally. Okay. Let's not try to contest. Let's sit on cautious once again. To weather the fierce storm attack. Oh, they've already fallen back to cautious. Let's go to steadfast and punish them for that. Taking the initiative from them and hammering them. Okay, we've got a stance advantage. Lost the stance advantage. Backing up. Well, about parity at this point. Defense focus, okay. So we're going to have difficulty doing anything aggressive, but at least we didn't take any incoming. Last round. Take a swing attempt anyway. No dice. Oh, the guy in front of me is dead. Yeah, the guy in front of me is dead. 51 to hit. 70 to hit. $14 to hit on the starting round. Yeah, going for it. Cover. Yeah, -9, not gonna take that risk. Go for a feint. Let the defense fall off. Or not. Going for cover instead of a defend, which gives us the opening. 14 for head. Hard pressed. 27 for torso. Blow gets through, we do some damage. $25 for torso. 30 for torso. Crushing victory. Find that guy again, he will have a very bad day. The goal is to get them below 1200 or less, which is hard to do. Fierce spearhead. Tries to press the advantage and doesn't get it. There we go. to fight. Did manage to break their front defense bonus. And we disengage. Well, look at the time. I'm going to go ahead and put a part break in here. During the last break, I did check. This is the last act, or last part, however you want to refer to it, in the current early access. So my plan right now is to finish this out in the next part. So this is one of the reasons I'm going to stop here, because otherwise we might not have enough in the next part. Also, we're already getting really close to an hour, so to keep the parts fairly smaller, this is where the part break's going. So I hope you've all been enjoying. Until next time, I wish you the best of luck and a good time. YouTube, you'll have a part up tomorrow. Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm literally just going to mute the mic and drink a little bit of tea and get right back to it. So until the next part, wish you all the best of luck, good time, bye for now.